and thank you for watching the Old Joe Show. Today's our debut episode of the newest and greatest classic and BC WoW podcast. The hosts of this show include myself, the one and only Shim, aka Shimmy Enough, aka Shimmy Knight, and finally Ripplin, otherwise known as Rip Jr., the Boy Roy, or the kid with the bathroom story. Today we have a killer episode online where we'll be discussing the topic of toxicity.
Is this actually on?
So let's start with you, Ripplin. When you hear the word toxicity, what are some of the first things that come to mind? It could be anything, man.
Yeah.
It really could.
Is it actually on right now?
Yeah, and I'm curious, man.
What?
Like, what is toxicity to you?
I don't fucking know.
You don't know? I mean, you know, you got toxic pools and, like, Fellwood and stuff. Pools of Agonar. But, what do you think?
Well, I guess you could say people like Alex Central, pretty toxic. I don't know.
Alright. Well, why? Why then? What makes someone like that toxic?
Basically, his personality, I guess. I don't. I'm not doing that. This is so
Just
stupid.
the personality? What about you, Shim?
Yeah.
Shim, you're the big host of this show. What's toxic to you, man?
You know, I think the biggest thing about toxicity is people's egos.
Egos.
Yep.
Ripplin, you got something to say about that?
I agree.
No, I got something to say.
Alright,
Corkus.
this is our this is our first guest for
When
the
I
show.
think toxic,
Corkus.
I think a guild called, by the way, on the dummy server called Felmis.
Alright.
And the reason why they're toxic is exactly the definition of the word. You spend too long around them, and you start to become toxic yourself.
Damn. So it's the community. But
Yes.
can toxicity... It seems like it's a word we're using to describe communities or people. But can toxicity also explain gameplay? Or even like the game itself? Can a game be toxic or encourage that behavior? Is that why Rep, by the way, is such a toxic guild?
I think so. Yeah, sure, the game could play can, because if you become bored of it, it can create,
I'm in that
unrest.
guild, by the way, and I don't really think that we're that toxic. I think there's people in it, or a bit faggish, but we're kind of, we're thinning out the herd. We're doing well. We're kicking it. There's definitely other guilds that are really toxic to us, though, because they're jealous of our skill,
I'm glad to see you
our
kicking it.
superiority.
You're finally using your foot on the boss.
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad.
See, now you're just being
But why are they being
dick.
kicked?
channeled abilities like fireballs and shit.
No, not that, man. Not the literal meaning. I mean, not the thing for 25 energy. I'm talking like, why are the people getting kicked from the guild? And why is it getting better?
Okay, I'll give you an example. The person that just used the example of Rep, by the way, was a greedy Jew boy. He wanted all the gear and only saw things to work in his way and never took. And also, I guess you could say he was a little bit combatant against our Fuhrer Armsor and the way he wanted to run the guild. So they kind of had butts a little bit and they disagreed. So Corkus spazzed the fuck out, killed a couple people in Gruul, and just ninja pulled trash from there and left.
Isn't that how you get to the top, though? By getting the best gear
No, it didn't work
and being
out.
the best player?
Also, deleting your character that's really well geared and that's level 70 and with the tons of gold on it.
Yeah, but
and
isn't that the
consumables.
result of the toxicity?
I
mean,
guess.
what... Not to be
I don't know.
disparaging, but like,
Everyone views it differently.
how can a game, or the community, or the people of a game drive someone who dedicated weeks of their time into something to just immediately delete it?
Good job.
Because it just goes to show how much they care about the game. In a sense,
What?
he doesn't care.
Oh. Then why do you
Pretty sure
play?
He cared a lot. He cared a lot.
He played because he wanted to have fun for a certain amount of time, and his fun ran out. He essentially he wasn't finding fun in it anymore, so he quit.
So it's his fault, not the game's.
Yeah.
You really think
You know,
so?
I think the thing we need to talk about is addiction. I think
That's
that's
an
what
interesting
toxicity.
theory
Yeah.
there, Ripplin.
Yeah, like exactly. He was addicted, and I guess you could say he felt like he was obligated to come online to do shit, but he didn't feel like he wasn't coming online because he was having fun, but for the obligation. That's what it was.
Obligated is not addiction. I think.
Well,
addiction
yeah, you're
runs deep
addicted and you're obligated to
in a
come
lot
on.
of- I think
I don't
that it runs deep in a lot of private server WoW players' hearts, dude. Is
Yeah.
the WoW addiction.
They
One day
want
you
that
delete your
grind.
character, the next day you're re-leveling the character, dude. That's the way of the road. See it
What
two
do you
times
think?
Cycle,
in a
huh?
row.
You think it's just I got bored of the game, or do you think it's toxicity?
You might have got bored of the players, honestly. I don't know. I mean, if you're back to leveling up the character, maybe, you know, it's not about the game being
Well,
boring.
yeah, but what creates like 24 people out of 25 men ready to be so shitty and toxic that it drives a man out? It must be the game itself at some level.
Oh, we should get a guy from the boys, dude. They know how to drive members out left and right.
Because of the
Yeah.
content, isn't that what causes these egos to be inflated and this toxic behavior to happen?
Wait a minute. It just came to me, dude. The boys are Legion players, and they have the most turnover rate of any guild I've ever seen on this server. Does that mean Legion's more toxic than private servers? Or does that mean their ego's
Maybe.
so big because they're playing Legion, they think
Dude.
they're that fucking good?
It might be that
Makes
because
sense
like
weird.
Legion, you know, there's no real punishment or setback if you decide to leave the guild, because you can always transfer servers or fucking open up another RNG box or something and get the best
And also
gear you
there's-
want.
It's scaling raids too. I know there's mythic raiding, but like you can always like do some heroics, maybe pick up an easy pug or something like that. To do even mythic even. You never know.
What about that then?
Also,
Be-
a lot
it-
of
be-
the
are you saying
comps
the
that you-
content in BC is harder?
Not the harder, but there's a lot of content in BC, TBC where it is a lot easier if you have certain classes and a certain composition. I guess that's what our guild leader or officer arms was trying to do for us, trying to make
I
it
mean, it
more
also
efficient.
should be stated that it's a lot more easy for Ripplin to enjoy the game when he has a part-time 10-hour-a-week job.
He plays Fortnite.
That's toxic. Don't play Fortnite. Tried out Fortnite. And I don't have a 10-hour-a-week job. I have a 40-hour-a-week job.
Yeah. Is that another problem though? The divide between the neats and the... Is that like... I know Tyler at Night Beast would complain about that and blame the whole shitty toxic community is based on those who have jobs and those who don't have jobs. I mean, it's a clear advantage, right? Like Shim and Corkus and you guys, when you were unemployed, had a good advantage over other people
Yep.
because you could just knead it up.
Mhm.
And that...
But the truth is, Propane, needing it actually doesn't give you any advantage. It's all about getting a small clique together, gathering as many herbs and materials for the guild so you can slowly take over as officer and invite the people that you want. You can be as slow as you want as long as you do that. Armor's or
He's neat though. He's able to collects all herbs himself. I guess you could say. I guess you're right. He does control the guild in a sense with the fact that he controls
Yeah.
all the herbs.
That's pretty much it. He has all the consumables of the guild and he made sure of that.
But the thing
Yeah,
is,
but you
we
guys
could
were
al-
also
we
able
could
to
also get a-
rise to the
Yeah.
top extremely quickly. And I think by being able to rise to the top and do the instance requirements and attunement requirements and reputation requirements with the 16 hours a day you could play with, I feel like that would have led to some sort of elitism or some sort of like superiority almost when you're walking around Shatrith rocking out T5 and you're the only people on the server who even had the time to get there.
Hey, the only time it matters is when the other people talk shit. That's the only time you flaunt it.
It doesn't last long though, that's the thing.
The gear?
You eventually hit a point where you can't really play the game without other people, right? Without other people catching up and raiding, so eventually it doesn't really matter at all. It all pretty much oozes together.
I don't think people are. I actually kind of doubt a lot of people are going to be able to complete tier 5 in the
On
next
gummies?
month or two. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard, and
They will when I get in their raid and tell them all the strats.
all the strats. What are
Don't
you
worry, it
gonna
won't
say?
happen for at least a month though, because he has a job and can't need it up no more. So
What character are you creating? What character are you?
Don't worry about it, kid.
Alright, remember Ripplin, we're on the podcast, let's stay focused.
No, I want to know what the character you made. And this podcast is
It's-
bullshit anyway.
It's
Doesn't
not
matter.
it's not for you to worry about. I'm gonna have to cut this segment out. Anyways. Higher requirements. Potential length of progression. The grind to the top. Is it a good feeling to be on the top, Shim?
it's pretty good, but I don't mind being on top or the bottom as long as
No,
you're having a
it's
good
awful.
time doing it.
It's awful.
Sorry, I'm just.
There's somebody that makes you run Black Morass 18 times in a row.
Huh.
30.
Some guy gets his trinket in a group that wants to get their trinkets, and he wants the bell after he gets his trinket. It seems pretty fucked. That's a pact between brethren, dude.
Shim, there's only one slave driver in that group, and you know the truth.
What, the guy who goes AFK to smoke a cigarette?
Yep.
Hey, you could have left any time, dude. That was probably the worst neat life dungeons I've ever done. I think it was actually probably the worst rocks I've ever done. For some reason, we like amplified it and made it.
Hey,
horrible.
Amp
Alright.
Amp was in the group.
Amp was in
boys.
the group. That's true.
Keep it focused on the podcast here,
Yeah,
please.
here's the next question, boys. Will the challenge and time requirements for grinding out the best gear in BC and vanilla? You think that'd be too much for people coming into Classic WoW in 2020?
I actually think it's just gonna be a nostalgic trip, honestly, for most people. They're
For like the
gonna come in,
veterans?
like,
for people like me and Shim?
Yeah,
And
not like
Corkus?
you and Shim, because you guys have been playing private servers. That's all you guys want to play. But people who either haven't played, because if you think about it, after the Cataclysm, like technically the game has been out longer. Like if you evaluate the times between Vanilla and Wrath Lich King and the times between Cataclysm and Legion, the game has been out longer for Cataclysm and Legion. So there's probably a lot of different types of players, like younger kids, like kind of like me in a sense. They
Mhm.
haven't played the older type of game. They really wanted to see what the game has come from, and then they were gonna try it out. They're not
Know
gonna
what
like
you're
it
doing right now.
in a sense, but I was able to have that luck of playing it a little bit when I was younger, but not as much as older people.
Right. Yeah, we believe that.
All right, dude. You don't
Like,
need to believe me.
Do you think
It's
they'll be
fine.
overwhelmed though? Like, you see those pictures online of like the attunement charts for BC or some shit.
That's
It's like
not
a
hard.
fucking
Attunement
maze.
charts are actually
I know it's not
really-
hard, but like, if you're coming in from Legion and you just, oh shit, hit 110, and well, better queue up for Antorus, the fiery
Okay.
throne or whatever. You
I
get
think
your
it'd be a breath of fresh air, honestly.
for the new guys.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because it's like an unscripted adventure, whereas with retail it's like you're bowling but you've got the bumpers on. Like you know exactly what you're doing. Whereas with
That's a good
this
way
you
of putting
kinda
it.
just keep going and you kinda figure it out as you go. Like it's really not that confusing, like I don't know.
I think this spot feels
I think
way more
they'll enjoy it.
rewarding.
That's
It
just my
does.
BC and
opinion.
vanilla.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, when you actually get a piece of gear, being against 40
It
people
feels
on
awesome.
loot drops, it feels good. Leveling up, hitting 60. It's a long,
Right.
long,
I mean,
hard.
at the end of the day, Propane,
fight.
it's still WoW. Like, we're not playing EverQuest or something.
Is
Everything's
it
still
though?
pretty
Is
user-friendly.
Legion Is Legion? If you compare that Legion to vanilla,
Oh
is
no,
it-
I just mean that like TBC is still WoW, even though it's like a much more watered down game now. It's still not that hard to figure out. I don't think.
I don't know, dude. There's a lot of small things that make a big difference over time.
I know, but he's just talking about like the attunement process and stuff, not like.
Yeah, if you don't know how to, I mean, it looks overwhelming. It's not that bad though. But then again, dude, back when I was younger, playing the game, I can't say I was ever exalted with every fucking faction you see, and I got that in a week. Never seen that before. Never in my life, dude. How would I ever think I would be exalted with half this shit?
Do you? Yeah, okay. Then let's go back to that elitism and toxicity, man. Like, because you're gonna be able to, when Classic comes out, to get exalted extremely quickly with the reputations you want, or, and obviously this is BC I'm talking about, but do you think that in itself is gonna create like a toxic environment between the knows and the knows-nots, the haves and the have-nots?
This is on the internet. Anything on the internet is going to be toxic. It's just
Yeah,
the way it
I think the
Doesn't
internet
matter.
has shifted. The online has shifted to more being toxic as fuck. compared to
Because
what
you're
it used
expected to
be.
know things before they even happen.
No, just people nowadays. Just your attitude towards things. It's like the quote unquote troll around, and they'd rather have a good laugh than to be a friend.
Also, the fact that how internet's just open to everyone now compared to what it was, I guess. It's just like, it's so wide and so big, everyone basically uses it. So, I feel like if they try to be friendly, there's no point because it's just not going to last. I don't know.
Like the new players, like if someone says, "Hey, can you run me through, or can you help me run SM Cathedral?" and you're a 41 warlock who's already ran it, like, are you gonna have that incentive to go back at all, where you may have in 2005?
Yeah, because in 2005, I guess you could say, people didn't know, like,
Yeah,
how important it was to run dungeons. Like, right now, if it wasn't or not, like, as loving God, people just ran dungeons because they thought, they didn't see a loot table, they didn't see what was good out of the dungeon, they didn't know what really dropped until they did the dungeon, and over and over again until something dropped, you know what I mean?
That was me.
We're pretending like there weren't elitists, and
Oh, I'm not saying there
Toxic
wasn't,
kids,
for
I'm
sure,
not
but
saying
it
you're
wasn't
not.
as open. The information wasn't as open about, what it is now. I mean, like, people just search up anything, literally anything, and find it instantly. And they'll be able to find out any questions they ask. There's, like, when you ask, like, a random group chat, they'll be like, what the fuck, why are you asking us? Just go and type it in Google and find out yourself, you fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
They were
That's
like
kinda
that
how we
back
treat
then.
you, isn't it?
They were like that back then. They said something similar.
Thoughtbot.
That's
Thought
true.
about it. Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Nothing's really changed. I don't
Except for
think.
they were way more friendly back then. I'm not
I
gonna
remember
lie.
the
I
guy
was
that
even
got me
more
into the game. I was brand new, and he was in the best guild on the server as a dwarf fury warrior, and I was too slow to SM, so I got halfway there, and he said, "Never mind, it just Hearth." So, I mean, I don't think that attitude's gone anywhere. It's just
I agree. The person that's me level 70 and then the Propane was talking about, like, a level 41 warlock is different.
In fact, I would even say that people will be more friendly nowadays as there's like less on the line, whatever, because it's already been done.
But are they doing that like out of obligation, or are they doing it, like, the goodness of their hearts?
getting out of their ego of knowing the game. Probably.
I don't think anybody does anything out of the goodness of their hearts. So
I suppose that's true, yeah. Yeah, I wrote this part when I was typing this up. It's just my thoughts. Returning players will pride themselves on experience and knowledge, and will feel pressure to compete and be better than the almost new, unworthy of the vanilla experienced noobs who can't appreciate the game on the same level they did. So do you think the threat of new upstarts, like potentially usurping the position of the veterans, are gonna upset, like, returning players? Like the threat of a noob being better than they are. Like someone brand new, someone born in 2000.
No,
Well, say this
they
comes
have
out in
an ego.
2020. You got kids being born in 2008, like 12-year-olds will probably be playing it.
I don't think so, because
They have a
WoW isn't
huge
something
ego.
you can really. It's just like a game knowledge thing. So, and it's
Yeah.
not like the game's even that hard. So, people are so good at games nowadays that it's just gonna be even across the board, as far as I think.
Do you think it's gonna be a steamroll?
To be
when
fair,
Classic
the
comes out?
information's out there. One of the biggest things on like NOS or Elysium was keeping exploits to yourself.
See, but that's what I mean, Shim. Keep exploits for yourself. Don't let people know about where you can wall jump or how you can do a certain quest or stuff like that.
It's the little things. That's all I'm saying. The little things add up to make a big difference. Sometimes it's not just the little things though. Sometimes there's, like on Nos, there was a dupe bug. People were just duping Flask. I don't know how it was done, but there was one for sure.
Next question.
So, will a divide grow within the player base?
Nah, I think everyone will eventually melt together, but there will be those. There's always elitists never get any play.
To be honest, I don't even think the elitists will play because the game's not going to be like it was.
Yeah, they will.
But
You
that's a whole
fucking
nother
crazy.
topic.
The
Crazy,
private
dude.
server
They're
elitists
gonna
will probably,
come back,
but
yeah, the private server elites are probably more elitist than the actual elitists, though. The actual elitists thought they were top shit. Private server people are gonna change. They're gonna blow their fucking mind. They're gonna make them look like a noob. In my opinion, that's what's gonna happen. Well, yeah, I got I got the 60 in fucking 10 days, dude. I'm fucking top shit. Yeah, I did it in 2. It ain't gonna be that big, but that's the only thing I'm saying. It's like that.
We got a question from the stream here.
seriously.
Mm-hmm.
For Lava's 10.
No. Which is the stronger argument? That a community that is seen as toxic should change to accommodate people who are more sensitive? Or should these people have tougher skin to deal with the toxicity? I wrote it in the Discord too.
Someone actually asked that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So what do you think? Do you think people should just man up? Or the soy boys can be crying?
I think I agree with that.
Rip Junior
statement.
ninja'd my dagger.
I agree with that statement. I think people should just fucking man up. It's a video game, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
everything just takes time.
But you see, anything that takes a lot of time is normally like.
Obviously, it's a hindrance
Put
to
your heart into it.
gameplay. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're an elitist and you trying to get something and you maybe lose an item, you're gonna keep going back and keep going back to get it, so you're gonna eventually get that item. But if you're
Let's say you do 30 runs of fucking Ubers and you lose a goddamn Dowrins and a
I see, the
same
thing
guy
is,
piece
Shim,
of shit.
you're gonna keep going back. That's what I'm trying to say. People like that are normies lose it. They don't really care as much because they don't care about the video game. But the thing is, with you, you're gonna keep going back, because you want that weapon.
No, I wanted that weapon until I saw it drop one time in like 30 runs and I lost it to a rogue that did no damage.
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Finger
fine,
faceless?
It's fine. Nah, it was fucking Dalren's main hand, dude. And the close shoulder.
yeah.
Also, like, is it worth to expend your just expend yourself, and then just get into an argument with a person for doing something?
I would argue for a lot
Because like we were talking about earlier, how people are nice on the internet and people being trolly on the internet as well. People are just gonna respond to you with, "Calm down, you fucking piss kid, fucking spaz." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna care if you're mad or not. So there's no point at all to put any type of emotion.
But isn't that the game's fault though? Like,
It is the game's
amount
fault,
of
and it's also
grind.
just-
I mean,
also
it's still
the
an
internet's
MMO.
fault. It's just how the internet is. Like any game, for the most part, for any MMO, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like that. That's something that you're gonna have to deal with. So if you are emotional about it, you shouldn't be playing MMOs.
Have you ever been happy when someone hit 60 and actually congratulate them with the bottom of your heart? Dude?
Someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Again.
True friends, like like IRL friends, and I know I'm gonna be playing
I
with them.
started playing WoW with nobody I fucking knew. I didn't
Same.
know Bob, dude, or Propane. I knew nobody. Not a single fucking person. And
Yeah.
I met a lot of buds on it.
Like on the Stars, I'll give you an example on the
Not
Stars
even the
one.
stars. I'm just
I
being-
know.
Back in the day when I was in
No.
dude.
I'm just giving you an example on the Stars though. Like, you know those two Dwarf Killer and fucking Oreo cookies? When I finally convinced them to actually try out this, like, vanilla and play with me, like, us leveling up was probably the best thing I've ever done. And then when we finally hit 60, and they were rating ahead of me, because they were they're elitist kind of when they play video games. They got to 60 way before me, and they went to Molten Core and did that shit. I'm like, holy crap, man, that's crazy. That's awesome. Like, I'm like, you getting good loot? And like, yeah, I got good loot. Like, and they're so excited. I'm like, wow, finally I'm gonna play with friends in this fucking game. Like, cause for WoW for the longest time, I've never played with people I knew in real life, really, at all. Like, I never got to raid with
We're on a
anyone.
podcast, you're kind of rambling, so
I'm just saying. I don't care. This podcast is stupid. So
Hey,
don't even get me started.
you mean that
Appreciate
though?
it if you would not
You
say
were
that about the podcast.
you were genuinely happy about those two guys?
I was.
Happy on it.
That's yeah. To conclude, I'm trying to say I was generally happy. Yeah.
Hmm.
I sound like a girl now.
Nah. What else do I have on here? I got a few questions on, well, personal entitlement. Do you think, yeah, well, we covered about that, right?
I'm gonna eat my sandwich. Be right back.
Do you feel more entitled to the game, Shim, than a new guy?
No.
No.
That's why I hate reserving loot. I don't mind. I don't mind gripping with noobs. I don't mind gripping with pros. As long as it's a good time, dude. I mean, it could be a bad time. If you're grouping with a bad tank and you keep dying over, I can understand frustration with that. You're not going to be in that group.
I feel like on some level, you enjoyed like your first WoW experience because it was just that. It was just an experience. But I think when you go back to a private server, well, I think not everyone, but a lot of people when they go back to it, they think I can finally get that gear I didn't get. I can finally be that warrior, that top DPS I'd always imagined I could be back when I was 12 and I saw Calazar running around Ironforge with a Thunderfury on his back. And just like,
Bugging out.
yeah, so I'm thinking like, yeah, on this Black Karaji tank, and I was thinking like hopping on the Nost or something like, yeah, I'm gonna get that gear.
Like I said,
And sure,
never
the experience
experienced
comes
it.
alongside of it, but I think the gear or like the idea or dream you had back then is what you're shooting for when you sort of go back for your second playthrough.
I
And so
don't
you lose a
mind
lot in the process.
unless it's fun. I mean, I like doing new things in it. Not to say that. I mean, I leveled up several times to 60 on private servers, and each time was a little bit different. One time I leveled up with Buds, aka KK and Wonder Bread, and semi-you, but you were pretty hammered with work, or fucking school, work. And another time I fucking tried to get the 60 as fast as I could with Kale, and it was on the board, never leveled up board before.
So in
Can't
some ways,
say-
each time was a different experience.
Yeah, it was always different. I mean, though I don't mind the same thing. I fucking know like every fucking alliance quest, like at least 95% of them. I could just do them without thinking. But I mean, there's always something. I don't know. There's always something to see. It's like when you look at the WoW icon. There's something new to see each time you look at one of them. Like you just never
Each time
know.
you look at Whirlwind, oh, you see something new in the icons. You look at
Yeah.
Immolate again, oh, that's a guy burning on fire. I see what you mean.
There's always something to be had. I mean, I don't know. There's still some stuff to learn. You know, it's small things. The game's just fun. Just playing with buds, doing some dungeons. Maybe going as fast, going as hard as you can. Maybe just taking a chill time. Maybe doing SM 30 times when you're level 37. Who
Yeah.
knows, dude? People get different enjoyment out of everything. PvPing, of course.
Alright.
Just people are different. Not everyone's the same. People enjoy the game different ways, but I don't know. I never really minded people who try harder too hard. You know, you call them the no-lifers, and then you end up being one yourself, and you realize, it's kind of not that much different, honestly. You just know a lot more,
You do more and you're more efficient at it.
and then you start doing circles around Stormwind or Ironforge, and then you're like, damn, I was doing this back in the day. Why didn't I hit my peak back then earlier?
Alright, here's the last thing before we hit our 30-minute cap. And I think Ripplin's still making that sandwich. I think it's possible that the private server scene's gonna ruin the newer players' experiences of the game.
You know, I honestly think if they were interested in WoW, even a little bit, they would have played a private server. I'm sure they heard about it. I'm sure they made characters. But then again, there's some people who care about like even the smaller things. I don't know. People do have nostalgia. It's not a bad thing to have, though. Not always.
I think you're right. Well, anything you want to add before I end with this monologue? For episode 1 on toxicity? Shim?
Well, I just think that the internet in its whole has become more toxic than it used to be. Right, because there's a lot more kids and other things. And
I fear that'll seep into the game a little bit, man.
Alright, I'm back.
Definitely will.
Oh, Ripplin, anything else to add? We're nearing our 30-minute cap.
Oh, we are?
Anything else to say about toxicity?
Part of life. Nothing we can avoid.
Well said, man.
Talking. Yeah.
I like it. Alright. Well, boys, will the grind to be in the top guilds be too much work, resulting in the creation of toxic players in a toxic environment, where the world of Azeroth is no longer inhabited by men and women forming alliances, or the lost nerds coming together to create a mighty horde, clearing dungeons and raids as friends? But in Azeroth, where cutthroat guild politics, elitism, and personal entitlement result in a toxic environment that can ruin even the most optimistic player's perception of our beloved vanilla experience, what's the future gonna hold? I don't know. All I can say is tune in for episode 2 next week.
Where did Corkus go?